Guys, have you ever done a prank that was supposed to be funny for 5 minutes, but somehow turned into a story people still talk about years later? Because I have. And honestly, when I started it, I thought it would be the smallest prank ever. I didn't expect it to become complete chaos. It all happened back when I was hanging out with my friends after school. You know those days when everyone is bored, nobody wants to go home yet, nobody knows what to do, and somehow that's when the worst ideas start sounding like the best ideas. One of my friends was sitting on a bench, completely focused on his phone. He was so focused that it looked like the world could end and he wouldn't notice. So I looked at my other friends and whispered, "Guys, I have an idea." Now, whenever someone says, "I have an idea" with that smile, you already know trouble is coming. My friend asked, "What are you planning?" I said, "Trust me." Those two words should never be trusted. Ever. So here's what I did. I quietly borrowed a piece of paper. Then I wrote, "Warning, this person sleepwalks during class." I taped it on my friend's back while he was distracted. Simple prank, nothing too crazy. At least that's what I thought. Guys, the reactions were immediate. As soon as he stood up and started walking around, people began reading the sign. Some laughed, some looked confused, some actually believed it. One student walked past him and said, "Wow, that sounds difficult." My friend looked completely confused. "Difficult? What do you mean?" The student just walked away. That should have been the first clue, but somehow he still didn't notice. A few minutes later, another person approached him. "Hey, are you feeling okay today?" My friend said, "Yeah, why?" The person just smiled and left. At this point, my other friends and I were trying our hardest not to laugh. Guys, have you ever tried not to laugh? The harder you try, the worse it gets. One of my friends was literally turning away from us because he couldn't keep a straight face anymore. Then things got weird, really weird. A younger student walked up to my friend and asked, "Is it true?" My friend said, "Is what true?" The kid pointed at his back. My friend couldn't see it. The kid got nervous and ran away. Now my friend was suspicious. He started looking around. "Okay, why is everyone acting strange?" I said. "What do you mean?" Guys, I deserve an award for pretending not to know anything. Unfortunately, one of my friends was a terrible actor. My friend looked at him and immediately said, "You're hiding something." The poor guy started laughing before anyone even asked him a question. Complete betrayal. But somehow my friend still didn't discover the sign. The prank should have ended there, a normal prank, a funny prank, a harmless prank. But then something happened that none of us expected. A teacher walked by. Guys, the teacher read the sign, stopped walking, looked at my friend, then asked, "Are you getting enough sleep?" For 2 full seconds, nobody moved, nobody breathed, nobody knew what to do. My friend looked completely confused, the teacher looked concerned, and my friends and I looked like we were trying not to explode. Then the teacher smiled and continued walking. The moment he left, we completely lost it. People were laughing so hard they couldn't stand straight. My friend was looking around like he had entered another dimension. Finally, he reached behind his back, pulled off the paper, read it, and froze. Guys, that silence was terrifying because at that moment we all thought the prank was over, but he slowly folded the paper, looked at all of us, and smiled. That's when I knew we were in danger, because when someone gets pranked and immediately smiles, they're planning revenge. Sure enough, the next day, he came to school acting completely normal. Too normal. I should have known something was wrong. People who want revenge are never that calm. So I relaxed. Big mistake. A huge mistake. Around lunchtime, I noticed people staring at me, then smiling, then walking away. Guys, does that sound familiar? Suddenly, I had a bad feeling. A very bad feeling. I checked my shirt, nothing. Checked my bag, nothing. Then I looked at my back. There it was, a giant piece of paper, and written in huge letters were the words, "Professional Prank Victim." Guys, the revenge was perfect because he waited patiently until I completely forgot about the original prank. Then he got me. And honestly, I couldn't even be mad. I started laughing. Everyone started laughing. Even the teacher who walked past us laughed. At that point, the prank war officially began. For weeks, people were checking their backs before entering class. Nobody trusted anyone anymore. If someone said, "Hey, stand still for a second," people would run away. If someone smiled too much, everyone became suspicious. Trust completely disappeared. It was hilarious. But looking back now, what I remember most isn't the prank itself. It's the laughter, the random conversations, the memories, the way one small joke turned into a story we talked about for years. Because sometimes the funniest moments aren't the ones you plan, they're the ones that completely get out of control. And whenever I think about the craziest prank I ever pulled, I still remember sitting there with my friends, bored after school, hearing myself say, "Guys, I have an idea." And honestly, that's usually how the best and worst stories begin.